difficulties with our guest, but we managed to get on tonight a special guest, an extra special guest from all the way around the other side of the world, well, depending where you are in the world watching this, but all the way from the other side of the world, from the sunny Australia, we have the one and only Jimmy Dee. So give me a few seconds. I shall play this recording and then we will have Jimmy. If you have any questions for Jimmy, please feel free to ask him away as well. So guys, there we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we see we have some of our regulars here already. So this guy is a great performer. His stuff is out there and crazy, and he definitely makes his own mark on it. And it'll be interesting to talk to him as well, because he does things differently to the way I do it, but the way he does it is different, but is extra special. So please make some noise, bang your keyboard for the one and only Mr. Jimmy Dee. He should appear that way.
Yeah!
Woohoo! You made
I don't know
it.
if you can read it. Even my little hat, I've got LED. It says "Hello, Greatness." It's kind of it's a bit blurred in the. I thought I'll put on a little bit in the background. I've even got a little welcome sign that way.
Oh, look
a
at that!
Welcome sign, LED in the background. I kind of
look at this.
went all out, and look. The purple hair I promised you.
The purple hair. Guys, I tell you what it is. Jimmy messaged me and he actually said to me he was going to dye his hair purple if he came on the show, and he has dyed his hair purple to be on the show. That is absolutely fantastic.
See, I keep promises. I even sort of like decorated all my office and everything. I've got a laptop in the background that way.
Nice.
Sort of, some photos and stuff. I've even kind of gone as far as I've got like a little promo shirt on. That's sort of it's a little mind trick promo shirt.
Yeah, it's a great visual, that as well. It's something that I have on screen sometimes before a show to get people kind of working. But that's one of my favorite kind of. There's a technical name for it. I don't know what it is, but it's one of my favorite optical illusions. Is that?
Oh, so, it's hilarious. I've actually run almost a whole show of just kids before my show, like a pre-show, just of them reading my T-shirt.
Brilliant. So we've got a couple of hellos as well. Natasha Stanley, she says hello. Adam Richard Dealey says good evening.
Hello.
So Adam thought I was describing him, and now they're arguing amongst themselves. So Adam says loving the purple hair.
Oh, thank you.
There you go.
That's my homage to Grant.
I must admit, I love the reference to when we've been messaging you and calling me Grantness, which I thought was quite cool. So I might get
that was my spin on the word of greatness to greatness.
Yeah. Oh well, thank you very much. So need to up my game. You need to teach me what. They're talking amongst themselves in the comments. So Jimmy.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about you. What was your first experience with stage? Well, first of all, what part of Australia are you in? Are you in the bit with the scary killer spiders or not?
Well, I'm actually on the other side of the state of Andy Venning, in Melbourne. Sort of, I call him the AV guy. Because sort of, I come up with nicknames and everything for everyone. But my look, I've been into working with people with disabilities. The majority of my life, sort of since I was 15, and that's one thing that got me interested. And I did that creepy thing people did in the 80s, like people watching at the cafes.
Yes,
and sort of people sit there going, oh, "What's that person doing?" And tell a lot about body language. I analyze body language and speech patterns in people, why people say things, and the reason why I used to watch them at cafes was because sort of like. I did a lot of TV and film work, and the biggest thing was watching the guy with the limp to go, oh, well, he moved that way because of, and it had a history behind it.
Yes.
So then sort of like, oh, well, he sort of like did it playing football, or he did it doing this, and sort of, you can always tell a story on people's body language.
Yes.
And also sort of, and a big thing of that too, it transfers to stage as well. That's sort of like you can see the anxiety in people.
Yeah.
My biggest thing is I try and stick away from the cliche things with my personal show. It doesn't worry me what other people do, but it's the reason why I don't call myself Jimmy Dee. I actually call myself Hypnotic Playground.
Yes.
So it's actually sort of a description of how much fun you're going to have on stage when you're there, and also sort of like, I'm not about big noting myself. It's about the show, and the business is the hero, not myself.
Yes.
So then it's not like I'm trying to be the magic guy that goes, "Ooh, I can do this to you."
So yeah, Adam says, Jimmy, who's the head behind you on the wall?
Which one? That one above the welcome sign? That way?
I think so. Yes.
That's me.
Yes.
That's me. I'll give you a quick look. That's me. Oh, that way.
Well, yeah.
Oh, there we go. Without the glare.
No.
But yeah, that's just something like a little promo thing that I've put up and stuff. It was also something I thought, there's a bit of white wall behind me that didn't look too interesting. I thought, I'll dress it up for this. And this thing's sort of like too glary, so I'm going to put that away. It's kind of bugging me now. So,
yeah. But really interesting point you said there about how you bill your show as the Hypnotic Playground, which is great branding for the show as well, by the way. Have I got that right? hypnoticplayground.com. Yeah,
beautiful.
Most hypnotists, myself included, were all kind of taught and programmed to be, the hypnotist first and have, Grant Saunders hypnotist. But by doing it the way you've done it, it does set you aside from everybody else, if you know what I mean.
Well, see, it's a cheeky bit of marketing too, though, because the thing is, years down the track, I can actually sell that as a brand. You can't sell your name, but you can sell a brand.
Of course.
And I could still be Jimmy Dee, but then I could sell my brand and it's just clever business sense, you know what I mean? Whereas sort of, if you sell off a fish and chip shop, you're not going to call it a personal name. You call it something else.
Yes.
And you can sell that off later on.
Yeah.
Whereas sort of like if you have a business named after yourself, unless you're a streetwalker, you can't kind of sell yourself.
Yeah. And I suppose if you have two bookings, you can always, if you trusted someone enough, you could always send another hypnotist to still be part of
course
the
you could.
Playground. Yeah. So yeah, no, that's a clever way of doing it.
The hard part is though, then the other hypnotist comes under your reputation, so they've got big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Whereas with me, as you can tell already, I'm pretty nuts. So as I said to you actually before we started, I'm nuttier than Austin Powers hot chocolate.
Yeah. Well, that's the great thing too. What was the first stage hypnosis show you saw? Who influenced you in the early days? What got you on stage?
Well, my mentor was a guy called Stephen Spellmaster, who is out of Newcastle in New South Wales. He's an awesome guy. He no longer does it anymore. He's kind of into real estate now, but sort of which is kind of a weird transition, sort of an entertainer to being a boring real estate agent. But hey, but each to their own. He was an awesome guy and sort of like helped me as much as he could, and I did sound for him. I've been in the entertainment industry sort of since I was 15. I've done everything from professional wrestling to juggling to one-man shows on stage to TV to commercials to you name it. Sort of I've done so many different things that sort of and I learned a little bit from all these different areas, and that's what sort of has built my skills to make me what I am sort of now. Sort of everything from DJ and singing in bands, which gave me the respect of all the lights and sound and having a great production.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing.
Absolutely. I was just about to say, it's so important about having that production level for your show, no matter where it's at. If you put in sound and lighting, it sets the mood, it gives it more of a show. So yeah, absolutely.
My biggest thing is production. When I do my shows, like my latest show this year, I change my show every 12 months.
Yeah. So
sort of like every 12 months I have a new show, and this year's Hypnomania. So sort of
with your Hypnomania, you could see your wrestling influence come through in that.
Well, can you? All these, I've got like so many different props and stuff. and things like that, and it all adds. Excuse me, just dropped the belt. All adds to the actual sort of atmosphere. I find that each person adds little details. Whether if it's some people like to say minimalism, where they're like simple is better. Some people sort of like go like myself is very detailed in what I do. I know with Andy Venning, as I was watching your talk with Andy Venning, you're talking about lights and stuff. So sort of like my phone here actually runs all my light show.
Oh, fantastic!
And so sort of
so
I've even got them in the background now.
Yeah. Do you have a separate app for your lights as well as your music, or is it all on the same app?
No, I've religiously made it that I have a sound person.
Yeah.
I know some people do, some people don't. And the funny enough is, my wife is my sound person.
Oh.
I've actually trained up my wife, and she's my sound person. And her mum actually sits in the crowd and records on an iPad for me.
Oh, keep it in the family.
So exactly. And so that's another niche that we've used that is a selling point. Is it the fact is that it's a husband-wife duo.
Yeah.
So we both turn up, and then sort of like she has input in on what we do on stage. And she goes, "Oh no, that's crap. Don't do that," or sort of do that. And then sort of, and this is my wife here. She's just saying, "Say hello, Crystal."
Hi. Hello.
So we kind of. There's our lights in the background and everything. Sort of even got the pixel LEDs there at the bottom of the stand.
Yeah.
So we kind of sort of.
I was saying earlier on a previous show as well, if you've got a partner with you, especially as a female, it balances out those misconceptions of sometimes people are a bit nervous about volunteering for a stage hypnosis show. But by having a female there with you, it gives that reassurance. We've got a couple of questions here, by the way. One of them was Natasha Stanley was saying she thought Hypnotic Playground sounds like a bit of a fetish club.
Depends where you're from.
Exactly, yeah. And Adam has asked, how has the entertainment industry been in Australia through COVID, and has it made you adapt your show, Jimmy?
It does. It's sort of, the thing is, with our show was always about choice to the customer.
Yeah.
Russian sounded like.
Oh, dear me. Yeah, I used to have a Russian sound technician. I have a Czech one too. Bless him.
Oh, it's good to see that some of the comments are funny from the viewers, and not just us. Yeah, we're just hilarious, you know. And modest.
I'm going to use that line in my next show, though.
Well, it's like a German sound guy. He doesn't say check 1 2. He's like 9 9 9. But
yeah, so yeah,
how with COVID we got affected just as much as everybody else.
Yeah,
which was sort of like you didn't have a choice. In Victoria, we had one of the harshest lockdowns for like 100 straight days that we couldn't leave our homes.
Wow.
And so sort of it was brutal. And the thing is, the key thing is I find positivity in everything.
Yes.
And so the thing is, I thought, well, either take to learning during that stage. A bit of reflection as well was a big thing with me. That's sort of like, okay, well, because you didn't know there was going to be 100 days. Sort of like at the start of it, it was just they extend it 1 or 2 more days further and further along. And you go, oh, bugger. And the thing is, I wasn't getting paid for any of those 100 days.
Yeah.
Same with all other entertainers here in Australia. And so sort of, and the thing is, all public performances were just out the window. Now they're slowly starting to come back. And as Andy Venning was saying, it was sort of like a lot of the footy clubs, we rely heavily on a footy club clientele with the hypnosis shows. And so sort of, whereas it's different. It's sort of like in America how they rely a lot on the dead ball or the after college parties and that kind of thing. Yeah. And theirs are totally different. That they actually they might start a gig at like 3 o'clock in the morning, whereas sort of like ours would be sort of like we'd start a show at like 6 or 7 at night.
Yeah.
So then sort of
that whole working. I don't like to be going on stage past a certain time. I want to be back in my car and on my way home. So the idea of starting a show at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
When I heard that, I was like, oh crap! You realize how late you'd finish. You just and sort of people that have been up all day just like be half asleep and just like, that's not hypnosis. This guy's comatose.
In the UK, if people are still up at 3 a.m., it means they're either very high or very drunk. People are wanting my show,
or a combination of both.
Yes, absolutely. Tell us about. I always ask this kind of the one of the most.
I know you have staple questions.
Yeah, the one of the most challenging shows you've done, the one where things didn't go to plan, and we all have them. And the problem with the ones where we learn the most. Tell us about that, because I mean we all have that one experience that it sticks in our mind.
My worst one was, I turned up, and before I even started loading my gear in, they're setting up the cocktail machine. They had finished for the season. They were drinking cocktails from like 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So they had a skin full of alcohol before we even turned up to do a pre-talk or anything with the crowd. And it's like, oh, this is going to be dangerously painful.
Yeah.
And sorry, excuse me. And we got there, and sort of I started talking through the crowd, and I was just getting hecklers, even just saying hello to people. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is getting so I even cut my crowd talk a little bit short. And so I thought, we got up on stage, and then that sort of like you can spot the really drunk ones on stage and stuff, but they still insist on going up, and you put your pre-warnings out, like with your pre-talk as the show starts, and you do everything you can, and you're kind of sitting there going, oh, help me. And it's sort of like, it's almost like, have you seen that film clip of the rats? They made that fish tank with the cans in it.
No.
They put aluminium cans in it, so then when the rats go in there, they can't actually get back out of the fish tank because the cans keep rolling. That's how I felt. I felt like no matter how far I quickly tried to climb out of this situation, I was just falling back down.
Yeah.
And sort of look, I got the problem is whoever you got hypnotized that night, people were coming out of the crowd, knocking them back up. Hey, you. I'm like, oh, you're kidding me. Yeah. And so sort of, it was, even if there was people sober, it was just sort of like, you get them hypnotized, someone would come out 5 minutes later, oh, this is crap.
Yeah.
You wake up. I'm like, no. And it was one of those nights that you learn from, but you kind of sit there going, if they have no more games for the end of that season, then we're not doing a show, because they're just going hell for leather on the alcohol. And sort of it was something that sort of you just kind of, everyone has those little notches of memories sitting in their head that they go, okay, don't note to self, not doing that again.
One of the, I'm sure you have it in Australia as well, but we have what's called Mad Friday here in the UK, which is the last Friday before Christmas when all the businesses break up. And it's when everybody goes out and gets incredibly drunk. My first few years for performing, you would always get booked on Mad Friday. And what? Yeah, exactly. And after, I think it was 3 years, I then decided never to work Mad Friday. It's just, it's
in Australia we call that Saturday night.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I did a military summer ball, and that's very similar. They put the cocktails on the table, and they drink, and so that's why I always try and get on fairly early, because you want them to be as sober as they possibly can be.
Oh, of course you do. If not only just for your skills, it's also for the safety of your other people on stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the one thing is, I can't stand the word volunteers.
Oh,
Because the thing is, it's kind of like, oh, please get up on stage. Come on, please.
Yes.
I call them champions.
Oh, I like that.
Because the thing is, sort of like,
Mr.
that
Chef
empowers people, lifts people up, and it makes them feel good about getting up on stage.
Yes, I like that.
And the thing is, that's the idea of what we do, is we do this as a marketing tool to get hypnosis out to the wider community.
Yeah.
And the thing is, calling people champions is empowering them, making them feel better.
Yeah.
Whereas sort of like calling them volunteers, it's just sort of like giving blood, or sort of like, oh, well, you're the next guinea pig in COVID.
Yes. Yeah.
Come and check out the vaccines. You're the first volunteers. I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
And sort of it just, I try and keep away from a lot of the cliche stuff that hypnosis is known for, but there's also the classics that you have to stick there to.
Yeah, I mean, I had and it's only changed since lockdown, but I always had the little striped thing on my chin, and I had it for years.
In Australia, we call that the Shannon Knoll.
The Shannon Knoll. Go on.
Yeah, well, he was a singer on Australian Idol. So the thing is, Google Shannon Knoll, and you'll see I call it bum fluff.
Yes.
But sort of, it's kind of, I've contemplated it at one stage, and sort of I thought, nah, I'm sorry. Sort of, if I wanted a landing strip to go off here, sort of like, nah.
Yeah. Adam says, champions make them truly the show and becoming the star. So yeah, absolutely.
Dead on.
And Kerry Taggart says she loves Mad Fridays. Yeah. Well, if you're out drinking, Mad Fridays is brilliant. Yeah. If you perform in Mad Fridays is terrible. But
well, it lives up to its name.
Yeah, but that champions is a great line, to be fair. And like you said, it's empowering, whereas asking for volunteers it's passive, it's permissive, it's a soft touch, really. So yeah,
but I find it kind of, in sort of like today's world, you have to watch what you say and what you do, and sort of every single word, sort of like, it's like you use the word redneck all of a sudden. Oh, hang on a sec. Who are you going to offend? You're going to offend alcoholic Americans, or you're going to offend American Indians?
Yeah.
So sort of, that's just an example. I'm not saying that I use it, but it's kind of, well, this generation, sort of like compared to past generations, they're kind of like wrapped up in cotton wool or bubble wrap, because sort of like everything they're being protected from.
Yeah. I don't know about Australia, but very much here over the last 10 years, 15 years, how people's, what they want from a show has changed so much. Whereas it used to have people doing ridiculous things. Now there seems to be more of an interest in the psychology of things, and a little bit more serious. Is that the same in Australia?
Well, it depends on sort of like where you go. If it's like if you're doing a work breakup, then I believe, then sort of like, but you're doing a footy club, you give them choice. With my show, I know you've brought this up with a few hypnotists where you're like, oh, well, do you do the adult content, or do you do just? I give people choice, because the thing is, they're the ones paying the money.
Yeah.
So I say, so like, if you want something a little bit more adult, we advertise it as that. You tell everybody that.
Yeah.
And sort of like, so then you're not kind of like, oh, well, try and keep the language down, young man, kind of thing to people, you know what I mean? Because then they're going to be like, oh, this guy sounds like a stick in the mud, you know what I mean? Yeah. And the thing is, every aspect of our show is kind of, it's all about their choice and audience participation. Like, we actually get the people in the crowd help picking things in our show. Like, we'll have a series of 30 skits we may want to do.
Yeah.
But we actually put them on cards and actually go out to the audience and actually get people choosing stuff, rather than me sitting there going.
I tried something similar years ago at a holiday park. So there's children into it. It's a squeaky clean show. And I kind of put a thing out on Twitter where they could use a certain hashtag and they could tweet suggestions for the volunteers.
Oh, yeah.
For the record, when you're doing a squeaky clean show in a holiday park, don't put a hashtag on Twitter for people to put suggestions forward. You only do
because
that
the last thing you'll get is
exactly. So yeah, I mean, some people when they watch the show may say have something against adult content. Absolutely not. I think adult content, when the client wants adult content and it's billed and booked as that way, I think it's brilliant, and it can be one of the funniest shows out there. I've always had an issue of when you get some hypnotists that just know adult content, or they rely on adult content to get a reaction or a funny, and then when a corporate client books them or a holiday park books them, they're coming out with, they're still doing adult content but not using swear words.
It's like you're talking about doing stuff on the cruise ship. There's stuff I do at a footy club that I wouldn't do on a cruise ship.
Oh, God, absolutely, yeah.
And you know what I mean? Sort of, and the thing is, but the key thing is, it's sort of like they chose that kind of night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Heck, Canada, what's rocking? The thing is, sort of, my biggest qualm is that sort of like if people say I'm only going to do kid-friendly shows, then you're only going to get customers that will be kid-friendly. And the thing is, then you minimize your market, you niche it down to a little group. And in Australia, we're still building, like, it's big in football clubs, but other than that, there's a huge demographic that hasn't seen a hypnotist show. And the thing is, sort of like, it's something as simple as going out and doing street hypnosis, and people go, it's even funny seeing little kids trying to say the word hypnosis, and because the thing is, it's not common language to them.
Yeah.
And so then sort of, and the reason we do these shows is sort of like to make it common language.
Yeah.
A big thing that sort of like is some doctors don't agree with it. It's because they're not writing scripts and making any money off it. So even the hypnotherapy side are getting slack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I do the entertainment. I do some hypnotherapies, excuse me, as well with people. And the thing is, I use the shows as a marketing tool to what I call it is my shows a lesson in self-discovery.
Yes.
Because the thing is, that's what people are doing. They're discovering new skills and new things about themselves.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is sort of, same with Justin Trans. He sometimes does some, like, he does the sports hypnosis and stuff like that. Yeah. And the thing is, but the biggest thing is, it's not about what I do with an athlete. It's about educating people on how many athletes are doing it.
Yeah.
Like I actually have a page where I have a list of athletes that have been involved with a mentalist, sort of a hypnotist.
Yeah.
Someone, if you can't find any professional team without any mental training.
Yeah.
Whatsoever. A big thing in Australia. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, it's amazing the labels that people put on it, but most top performing athletes are doing some visualization and some self-hypnosis and having people in to help coach that hypnosis side of things.
Oh, it's huge. With football clubs, what I tend to do is it's about teaching some of the younger players that come up into the team about the pecking order, where they are, like the teams are linking a chain, where they are in that chain, where they sit in that chain. So then, okay, you're playing under 18s, and you used to be one of the top dogs in under 18s. You're now in the seniors.
Yeah,
you can't expect to be in the same spot because you are now the newbie. You are the amateur here, and you need to actually sort of like learn your place.
Yeah.
So that's a harsh way of saying it, but it's a way of actually kind of getting them to realize that, hang on a sec, if I play in one position, it's just as valuable as another position. Don't sort of like, people value things based on reputation sometimes. And that's a key thing that a person that does mental training for an athlete does, is that it shows them those finer points that they don't actually necessarily would have seen beforehand.
Yeah. Yeah. So we talked about your challenging show. What's your favorite show you've done so far, for whatever reason? I have a couple of shows in my mind, and they're the ones that I visualize when I'm going out to do a show. What's your favorite show to date that you've done?
Well, it wasn't the biggest show, because it's never just about the volume of people, but it was one of the funniest shows. And the thing is, I the crowd got so involved that they sort of crowd in like this.
Yeah.
And they create what is like a great wall of China of people across the back wall, and like they were standing on tables and chairs, and they were literally probably about this far from the roof. That's how high they went, because they wanted to get the perfect vantage point. But not only they get evidence across their friends with their mobile phones going, or when a coach gets up on stage. A coach, or I've had a president of a footy club, he gets up on stage and volunteers. They've been my favourite moments, because it humanises their job that they have to do, the crap decisions that they've got to make and stuff. But you get him up on stage and sort of like you play a piece of music like Madonna or something, and he's grabbing his crutch and he's doing this and he's doing that. And people are like, oh my God, that's not his personality.
Yeah.
And that's probably one of the biggest things, is seeing a turn in a person's personality is probably my favorite thing. So all my shows are my babies, because I sort of like, all of them are individual. I do all my own marketing and everything else. But the thing is, I think the best experience is turning a person that sort of that thinks it's a load of crap into, oh my God, that was the best night I've had of my life.
Yes.
I could spend like 25 minutes talking to a person before a show, which I have done. They get up on stage and they're the funniest out of everybody.
Yeah.
Because they've been educated. Yeah. And that's the number one thing that sort of I tend to use in my show, is make sure that everybody in the room learns something.
Yeah.
And because the thing is, a lot of people, it's all about me and it's about the show and I've got to be fantastic. And you're like, no. The thing is, sort of, my number one thing is if people walk away learning something, then I've done my job. Absolutely. And the thing is, and I use audience participation at the start of the night and different things like that. We sort of, we sometimes we did games and stuff after the night as well. So we made a full night of things. So it wasn't just a show and then we'd take off home. We'd sort of like have different mind games and different stuff that we do, and even different mind puzzles that sometimes I do before the show that sort of gets people involved. Things like the T-shirt that I'm wearing and stuff. Just so then it all ties in together, and all these little finer details then make a good night a great night.
Yes.
That's how you get reputation.
It's those little extras. It's putting in that extra effort that really does deliver. Like you said, it turns it from being an okay night into a great night. Absolutely.
Well, we use this interview as an example. That's sort of like, you do a great job with your backdrop and your freak show entrance and stuff out there, and the lighting and that suits your personality. And that's why I started coming up with different things to have in the backdrop here, because I thought, well, I didn't want to be another white screen in the background going, oh, sort of, this is me, just because the thing is, it then gets a bit bland. You know what I mean? How do people sort of, well, one, this is all the hypnotists that you've interviewed have got to thank you for creating this platform for everyone. But two, this is an hour for you to create your moment and actually sort of like do something with it. Having a white background and me just going, yes, I'm very good at what I do. Just believe me. You get what I mean? Absolutely. Show your personality. You know what I mean? There's no change in people's voices. You're not getting interviewed on CNN.
Yeah.
Oh my God, make it entertaining for the people.
Richard Cole says the devil is in the details.
Yes.
And then he said, "Wait, is that what I was meant to say?"
and that's sort of like, that's why I filed back my horns, because like I'm the king of details. I sort of even like 5 minutes before we would go on, sort of I was supposed to have breakfast, because I don't know what time it is where you are, but sort of like it's only about 8 o'clock here.
Oh, it's 11:30 at night here.
Okay, cool. Because we kind of we had daylight saving, so our clocks went back an hour this morning. So we sort of and it's nice weather out there today. It's been sort of like a beautiful weather for Easter weekend here in Melbourne, and so sort of
we have snow forecast.
Awesome. Yeah, I've never experienced live snow falling.
Oh wow.
I reckon that would be kind of cool. Obviously, the first thing you do is snow angels, don't you? You're just like, yay!
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what? I mean, I love snow angels. I love snow when it's freshly fallen, and that's about it. When it turns into the brown slushy stuff, I absolutely hate it. But I do.
My one time, I went to the snow here in Melbourne when I was a kid, and sort of they had the footpath going this way, and they have all the build up on the side of the footpath.
Yeah.
All the build up of the snow because they clear the way. And we're walking down with my mum and my sisters. I've gone, oh, hang on a second. I've gone running up ahead. I stuck my head in the snow. So all you see at the end of the driveway is my ass hanging out of the snow and my feet and nothing else. So all these people are going, what the hell's going on? And you just see an ass and feet. But the problem was there was no camera. There was no like you get your mobile phone and take a photo those days. But I'm like, that was the funny. But the funny thing is, you put your head in and it creates that little bit of a cave in there, and you're just like, you'd feel you'd be suffocated, but you could actually. I sat there quite nicely for a couple of minutes while my mum was walking up. She's like, oh, don't do that. You're embarrassing me.
So yeah, Richard Cole says, snow, please, Canada. Yeah. Brilliant.
It's all sort of, you've got a animal just sort of dedicated to the snow. So it was yes. That's sort of that's the last thing you'd see here in Australia.
Yeah, well, yeah.
If there's anything like this you see in Australia, it's sort of like spiders the size of your hands.
Oh, I think that's what's preventing me from going to Australia. The fact that the spiders can kill you.
I've got a funny story about it. If you want to hear,
absolutely.
I was speaking to a friend of mine, and sort of he was having lunch in a town called Leongatha here in Victoria. And they're sitting there having lunch, and on this forward drive, this spider just creeps up and goes up onto the windscreen. And he's like this massive huntsman sitting on the windscreen. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, this magpie flies down, grabs the huntsman, sits in between the cars, and eats the huntsman. Ate the whole thing. Wow. And I'm like, I never knew that about magpies. I'm like, that would have been freaky. Oh, I would have just got my phone out straight away. And it's the age of just recording everything. I would have been like, yeah. But it's amazing. If you know what a magpie type bird is. But yeah, it's sort of, I just didn't envision them as spider eaters. And I'm like, wow. And I take that philosophy. You learn something every day. And when he told me that story, I'm like, that's an awesome story.
Yeah. I have a newfound respect for magpies now. So.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not just a spider, a huntsman spider. So that's
and it was huge. It was like I said, it was the size of your hand. He's just like, thank you. Meat group.
So if you are watching this at this side of the world and you're just about to go to bed, there's a great image for you. Night campers.
Look on your windscreen after a night on your forward drive's been nice and warm, and something's come out when it's got cold.
So COVID happened. Have you pivoted or changed your show as you're coming out of that? Do you do things differently now in a socially distanced way? What things are you doing?
We all do. And it's kind of you basically everything's spaced out depending on your space. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's kind of like you have your hand sanitizers there, and you have everything else. But the thing is, at the end of the day, like here a couple of weeks ago, we got released from wearing face masks everywhere.
Oh wow!
So no, not in the shopping centres or anything at the moment, which is fantastic, and we've done the hard work for it. But the thing is, sort of like a couple of weeks ago, it was kind of you had to at least wear it in the supermarket and sort of like big shopping chains, but then people still wouldn't wear it. And like there were still people during COVID here in Australia. COVID's going around. We had like 70 cases or something. It's nothing compared to what you guys have over there. But during midst of our lockdown, and they would have like demonstrations in the city of a couple of thousand people. You sit there going, oh my God, you're getting together by the thousands to protest the reason why we're staying at home, and you're just making the situation worse.
Yeah.
You're like, what the hell?
We're just about to, we're on our way out of lockdown now. We're still in lockdown, hence the really long hair that I've got at the moment. We're still in lockdown. Yeah. Oh, this is staying, I think. It makes me look younger. Yeah, we're just
cover the chins.
Well, yeah, I must admit that's the reason why it's staying. But yeah, we're slowly coming out of lockdown. I think we've got another 3 or 4 weeks, or maybe a bit longer, for it to happen. But people have started going out and protesting the lockdown and the masks, and it's like, can you just stay home and behave for just a couple of more weeks? It's like we're almost there.
How do we fix it? Let's get together in our thousands and breathe on each other and hug each other and go, yeah, that fixes it.
Yeah. So, but yeah,
Donald Trump must have organised those protests.
Well, he's not there now, so who've they got to blame?
Well, I wish he wasn't anywhere, to tell the truth. Oversized Oompa Loompa. It was one of the worst things they could have done for their country.
Yeah.
Like, if you wanted something to look like a Jaffa, go to the shops. You know what I mean?
Brilliant. Getting back on track. We don't think Donald Trump was going to come out tonight.
See, I always do this. Every time I have a conversation with someone, I go off topic. I go on a rant, and you can tell now I can talk for ages. So hopefully this is not an 8-hour podcast.
Everyone's just switched off. Yeah, it's only 7 hours left.
Everyone's falling asleep. They're sitting there going, real hypnosis. These guys are falling asleep in the audience. Yeah.
I always ask people about tips as well, things that you learn along the way that you think is invaluable for a new stage hypnotist coming forward. Now, I always ask for that because, like, the textbook stuff that's out there is very generic, and there's certain things I've picked up on about, and you mentioned it earlier about that kind of being the show, putting in the extra effort, the production value. For me, I think is very important. But if you were to give a new stage hypnotist or someone looking about going into stage work a tip, what would it be?
Well, you used the key words just then, was don't be generic. Don't be what someone has been before you. Because the thing is, it's like being a card in a deck of cards. No one's going to notice the ace of spades. No one's going to notice the 10 of clubs. The thing is, you need to make yourself different from the group. You need to actually be true to yourself.
Yeah.
That's why I sort of like, I knew as soon as I asked you what hair color you wanted, the first thing I knew you'd say would be purple.
Yeah.
And I knew I had some in my bathroom. So, but I gave you the choice, so it made you feel like you were actually that you were making that choice.
Exactly.
But I actually already had it in my bathroom, and that was the color I was going to put in.
Brilliant.
So, my key thing is that try and make yourself look like what you want to look like. Don't kind of Google pictures of what a hypnotist looks like and go, okay, this is a standard I'm going to stick to.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, no, because you create your own standards, you create your own image or whatnot. So the thing is, sort of, everything I find that I do in life is I try and do things that makes me happy. It's sort of like the orange laptop just over my shoulder was one of my first show laptops. And sort of like, that was my favorite color. So that was my show color.
Yeah.
And it's just like, someone else may, like yourself, you use purple. I know Andy Venning uses a bit of purple, and I know other hypnotists are doing that too. And it's just like, well, that's nice, but that's not mine. That's not my personality. And the thing is, keep true to yourself. Because the thing is, that's the only way to make your show look natural and seem genuine.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're too robotic and you're trying to be something that someone else is, whether if it's a hypnotist overseas or anything else, the thing is, people are going to pick you up on it. Yes, you can learn little nuggets of information from people, but always, that's how we created our personalities to start off with. Is it sort of like we create our personalities because I like that person's dress sense.
Yeah,
I like the way this person holds themselves in a tough situation with how they deal with stress and anxiety. And that's how personalities were created. Nobody's just woke up out of their mum's womb and went, I'm going to be a show person. Yay.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? And the thing is, I'm nuts because that's what I am all day, every day. I work with people with disabilities during the day as well. And the thing is, sort of, they don't want someone sitting there going, now take a sip of your drink. Now let's walk over to the park. They're like, no, sort of like you're gonna dress for you.
Yeah.
And the thing is, that's why sort of that sheep mentality, I kind of cringe every time I hear someone use that analogy, and I'm just like, well, hang on a sec. That you're only a sheep if you want to be a sheep.
Yeah. So Natasha says, she's got a great point actually. Bring on the migraine promo photo and the pocket watch.
Oh, that is the one image that I guarantee that you would never ever see in any of my marketing is the pocket watch or the hands. Everybody does it, and it's just like, well,
I must admit, I'll hold it. I have a pocket watch picture. It wasn't my proudest moment. I actually there was actually Masonic square and compass on the pocket watch, and I actually had a booker contact me and pull a show because they thought it was some kind of devil worship because it had like a Freemason symbol on it, and it was kind of like what? So,
people do that. They read into things way too much. They kind of go, well, hang on. They sometimes see a something that's not there. Yeah, and that's what sort of that's why you got to make yourself as transparent and as clear as day of what you want to do. And it's just sort of that you will never catch the cliche kind. I've actually got a spoke. Do you want to see my spokesperson for my show? Go on. Can you bear with me for like 10 seconds? Absolutely. Entertain him, tell him a joke, do a dance or something? Give me a sec. I'll do it. I'll juggle. Brilliant. So guys, he's going to go and whilst Jimmy finds that the spokesperson for his show. Oh, that was the quick 10 seconds. Actually, my wife's going to go get him. There you go. So there you go. You trained her well. See, she does that on stage too. It's incredible. She's actually listening to see if I don't mess up, and then she slaps me across the back of the head at the end. How does that work? What'd you say that for? How does that work? Like the dynamics, like if you've had a massive row in the car on the way to the show. He's a little bit dirty, but he's my spokes. It was my face of the show, but now it's like, bless him. His name's Hypno. Is it? Yeah. Oh, so brilliant. He was kind of a dry face to my show. Now he's a wet face to my show because the grass is all dewy from this morning. Awesome. Thanks, Hypno. Now I feel like he does. But I'm actually even looking at putting him on my car because I actually have all sign writing and stuff on my car. Yeah. But not that kind of photo because that was him looking like a drowned rat. It's actually he's supposed to look like he's supposed to be a Maltese Shih Tzu, and that makes him look like a Jack Russell. When he gets wet, it's just his hair's all mats and he looks like a wet rat. Brilliant. So you got sign writing all over your car. Is that obviously promoting the show? Yeah. Brilliant. Sort of I could even take a photo of it, but yeah, my face is on the door. My mother-in-law wanted to put like one of those fake bullet holes in my forehead. But I even put like inspirational quotes across the back window of my car so that people can sort of like, I did not know that. Or sort of there was a different stat for like cigarettes because sort of like sometimes I do stuff with people for quit smoking. They're like $62 a pack. Wow. Here in Australia. Wow. And my wife used to smoke and they were like $20-something. So they tripled in price. And so I actually do a price breakdown of what it would cost for a two pack a week habit. And in 5 years, it's $30,000. Wow. And so My wife just took a quick photo. I don't know if we can get that. Maybe I'll have to send it to you, Grant.
Yeah, post it in the comments section. Oh, I think we almost had it then, but
actually, let's see. I'll turn my light off. Let's see if we can get a bit of. No, it's not going to make any difference.
No, it makes it brighter.
That's all right. Yeah, I'll chuck it in the comments. But yeah, the thing is, everything I do, I do it for you. No. But the thing is,
oh, go on. I was going to say, do you think your entertainment, your wrestling, your DJing, your singing, do you think having a foothold in entertainment has helped you become a better stage hypnotist? And I say this because I know a lot of people, when they learn hypnotherapy, then look towards the stage as a way of promoting their services.
Yes, because that's what I said. It's a marketing tool.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, sort of like, it's to bring hypnosis to the wider community that everybody knows, but also sort of the thing is, I find that my past entertainment history has helped me to be confident in front of the camera, confident performer on stage. But it kind of my research into hypnosis and the ab reactions and all this kind of stuff, whether if it's digital or it's in a book or something like that, that's the reason why I'm a good hypnotist.
Yeah,
they're two different things. Performer makes the spectacle, makes all the hand movements and all this kind of stuff, and people go, ooh, wow, he has a presence on stage. But that doesn't help you if someone's sort of like not going under, because sort of like you could go sleep, or do whatever you want to do to try and make it. It's not going to work. They're just going to be like, what the hell is this bald dude jumping in front of me, trying to sort of like the number one thing is everything I have done has created basically an extra, has just exacerbated my extrovertness.
Yes,
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So then sort of whereas the training I've done in hypnosis has actually given me the skills to say, well, hang on a sec, this is what it, because the thing is, the funny thing is, some hypnotists they've got the skills, but they've never actually been hypnotized.
Yes.
And the thing is, how do you know what the person's feeling if you've never been hypnotized too? And that was my key thing.
Yeah.
Was that you need to actually know what they're going through and go, well, hang on a sec. So then you can be descriptive in when you're educating someone, telling them exactly on how they. If my key thing when I get on stage is that if you stop hearing my voice, you're no longer in a trance. You're going to sleep. Because the thing is, you've blocked me. Or if you're talking to yourself, self-talk that everyone does, you can't listen to yourself and me at the same time. So you need to make a choice. The thing, and that what needs to happen.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't understand, is if you don't teach someone that. I work with metaphors all the time, and my metaphor for people when they're learning hypnosis, it's like counting cards at the casino. The more you do it, the better you get at it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, and for the people that are learning hypnosis, it's a skill. And this skill is like if I got you, Grant, to weld the guards on the trailer out the front, and you've never welded in your life, can you achieve that goal? Probably not.
No.
But if you go off and do a course to learn how to weld, and then I say, go weld the guards on that trailer, you can then achieve that goal because you've got the education, and that can be done. And the same with hypnosis. If you educate your people right, that sort of like, then sort of they can achieve the goals that you set out for them.
Yeah. And it's really great point that you said that. And I always kind of encourage hypnotherapists that are looking at going to do stage stuff, where you said to actually get hypnotized. I always say to people looking at doing stage hypnosis, go and see a stage hypnosis show, go and see 5 stage hypnosis shows, volunteer on stage so you know what their experience is like. And then that way it gives you so much more understanding of what's going on when you're giving the suggestions.
Well, see, the great thing about me is I'm happy to embarrass myself. sort of the thing is sort of I have fun with myself, so then people feel comfortable in doing what they do because they see that I'll do the exact same thing that they're going to do.
Yeah.
And like I could say that I was hypnotized, and it was at a sexpo, and it was sort of like it was humping a chair.
Nice.
And I remember that. And the thing is sort of like, and as a hypnotist, you do have an analytical side of hypnosis when you're doing it, but the thing is you remember it, and then you go, okay, now I've captured that moment in my brain, now I'm going to insert that into someone else's.
Yeah.
So then they can have that same experience and go, because the thing is sort of like they always say, every time you see a review on a show, oh, that he was talking and I just couldn't help myself but do it. That's hypnosis in a nutshell.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you get up on stage with it, when you're truly under, not when you're you're poking through the corner of your eye, looking at your mates, going, "Watch what I do next." You know what I mean? You're not always. There's always going to be someone who goes through the cracks and ends up like that on your stage.
Yeah.
And it depends on how you deal with that. If you deal with that like, oh, you watch back the recording, you're paranoid, and you're like, oh, he wasn't even hypnotized. He was just being a dickhead kind of thing. Oh, my language, sorry. But it was just being a turd on stage, and it's sort of like, you can't hold that to yourself, because the thing is, you're watching 8 to 10 people sometimes on stage, if not more. And then sort of like, if a person falls through the cracks, then, oh, well, he had a good night. He enjoyed himself. Then you did your job. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Natasha Stanley says, I can't imagine you giving up that much control, Grant. I must admit, I don't know if I would volunteer for a stage hypnosis show now, but in the early days, definitely. If you know what I mean, it's a great feeling. But it's I was going to say, would you volunteer at a show now as a hypnotist?
Of course. Like I said, I don't mind making a fool of myself. The thing is, I don't take myself too seriously. Yeah. Based on the hair.
I think for me, it's because I am a hypnotist. I wouldn't want to volunteer for another hypnotist show that was local to me, if you know what I mean, because I wouldn't want someone in the audience to feel somehow that it was then a stooge or a setup for the other hypnotist, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of on those grounds, I wouldn't volunteer for another hypnotist show just for people to then go, oh, but he's a hypnotist already, so it's all set up. So, yeah. But, I mean, I love to be hypnotized. It's a great feeling.
Oh, well, I do it all the time. It's sort of, I use it as relaxation. The thing is sort of, when I lived closer to the beach, my number one thing was I would sit out on the pier. Yeah, and actually listen to the waves roll in, the seagulls and everything else, and sort of like just spend some time. And whether if it's reflection or it's sort of just kind of soaking in the now. Yeah, because that's what I'm afraid that too many people don't do, is that they don't soak in, they don't take the opportunities of now. Yeah, they tend to go, well, oh, well, I've got the mortgage and I've got this, and they're worrying about what might happen. Who cares what might happen? We could have been wiped out by COVID last week. And the thing is, if you sat there with, sorry.
I was going to say, I always say, like, mobile phones, tech, computers, mortgage, stress, jobs, all these things are taking energy away from us. To spend time in nature, like you've just said then, by the beach, in the woods, in the forest, take time in nature. That's when you plug back in. That's when you recharge.
Hopefully that's not all in one spot.
Yeah,
that's a weird ass beach.
That is a weird beach.
A wooden beach
with unicorns.
So like just this tree coming out of the sand.
But yeah, when you spend time in nature, it plugs you back.
I told you I can go off on a tangent. And exactly. But the thing is, it's how you look at technology. If you see it as a hinder, or you see it as sort of like, I'm glued to my phone, or I have to do this, I have to do that. And the thing is, you don't actually kind of, your day-to-day life, whether you're working, this, that, and the other, it's all about time management. People go, well, I've never got enough time, or I've never got this. And it's just like, well, you are the creator of your time.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you manage your time, so you need to be able to sort of man up and say, look, hang on a sec, I've got to make 5 minutes for myself this morning. Go even on the toilet. Because we maintain our vehicles, but we don't maintain our brain.
There's a British motivational speaker who's a great guy called Brad Burton from Manchester as well. And he says when people says to him that there's not enough hours in the day, that they don't have enough time, he gives them one task, and that's to write down every 15 minutes what they're doing. And it starts off that after about an hour, it ends up being dicking around on Facebook, watching kitten videos on YouTube. You know, it's about you fill your time with stuff that isn't necessarily a priority. And then if you fill your time with the stuff that's not important, the important stuff becomes urgent, and then you don't have enough time. So, yeah.
Yeah, I wish I had as many views as those cat videos. Maybe I'm going to dress up in a huge cat suit and just make some videos out in the front yard playing with cardboard or something.
Amazing.
Oh, yeah, I'll tag you in it.
Definitely do.
It was like there's another hypnotist in America. His name's Jim Kellner.
Yes.
And like we were having a chat. And
Jim is a fantastic guy.
And I was having a chat to him, and I'm like, because he was talking about doing parkour. It's like old man parkour.
Yeah.
And sort of we had a tangent going on for hours. We were like, oh yeah, we'll sit there and we'll jump over turtles, we'll roll over frogs, sort of like we'll go over, we'll just like steadily, like we'll get up out of a chair really quick and do stuff like that and make up videos and stuff. But it never came to fruition. I'm like, I so wish it did, because there was some of the most, and that's the one thing I love of it, is that I have such a childlike mind that I would just create craziness out of nothing.
Yes.
Sort of like my pigeonholes behind me. I got bored, so I'm like, how do I dress that up for Grant's show? So I put masking tape on it and got a Sharpie and blah, blah, blah. And I thought, that looks kind of trippy. And then I kept going on the drawers behind it. And then I got bored, so I put, for my drawer with black Sharpies in it, I put BSM, Black Sharpies Matter. And I just entertain myself that way doing stupid stuff.
Brilliant. Well, it's been.
And then my wife sits here and rolls her eyes at me as I say it.
That's a wife's job, I believe.
Yeah.
I always ask people for recommendations on books. If there's been a book that has helped you on stage.
Let's wait for this question.
Oh, there you go.
Here's one. I don't know if you can see it. The Greatest Salesman in the World.
Yes. Who's that by?
Og Mandino. Oh, damn light.
Yeah. No, we got it.
Got it? Cool.
Yeah.
That one, and there was another book I had, which I've been using it in my car, and I haven't got with me. It's what is it? Suggestions and Metaphors.
Yes.
And so sort of and that's kind of, as you were going back to sort of like new hypnotists, that would be a Bible for people to use.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, it covers absolutely so much. You could just sit there on a bored day reading it. And I'm not a huge reader, but the thing is, sort of like I do sort of tend to flick through and like take, like I said, nuggets of information out of that to kind of go, well, hang on a sec. Sorry, there was a comment up before. What did that say?
Adam has a Sharpie obsession.
Oh. Hopefully that's not a personal dig, but yeah. Yeah, sort of he sits there and paints mustaches on and stuff like this, and sort of he sits there and does the full sort of Monopoly guy look with a Sharpie.
I could see that. I'm a big. I have Audible in my car or my phone. Yep. So whenever I'm driving to and from gigs, I have that playing as well. So it's always a great time to kind of top up information.
I sometimes even have this UK hypnotist playing in my car through my Bluetooth. You might know him. He favors the color purple. He used to have a landing strip here. Now he's got the bum fluff here.
He's got the, and he's only got one chin now. He's hidden it under his beard.
Yeah, I saw sort of like you and Andy Venning having a competition. God, he looks satanic now. We're not allowed to say that word on this channel, are we?
Oh yeah. That took a weird turn, that show. So yeah.
It's funny. But people can believe what they want to believe and say what they want to say. But just why ruin someone's interview? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Some people need to feel important somehow. But yeah,
I hate the word troll.
Yeah,
because it sounds like a green guy in the woods going. But the thing is, there becomes those kind of words that you cringe every time you hear the word troll. You're like, get a life, man.
Yeah,
life's there to be lived. Why are you there trying to ruin someone else's life?
Yeah, but yeah, Andy's beard is that's something special. That's
a soup strainer.
Yeah, he's going to be a wizard.
Oh yeah, Harry Plopper. Like from the Simpsons movie.
Oh, brilliant! That's the name.
But the one thing is sort of like, I always have fun and chat with Andy, but he's a big dude, man. Sort of like, I mean, tall wise.
Yeah.
I don't know any the other way, but yeah. We're close, but not that close. All right, get your mind out of the gutter, Grant.
The rumor started here.
No, my luck. He watched his interview back. He can just go, "What the hell, man?" I'm like, "Hey, Grant sort of pursued it." He was bored.
Yeah. We had a great steak in Vegas, did me and Andy?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, ask him about that story.
Oh, you don't mean so like you bought some property and you had a steak in?
Oh no, not a steak.
Wrong kind of steak. Yeah,
a meal steak.
Cool. I always mess with people's words. Actually, there's one thing that I used to do years ago, and I thought it was really funny that I did with hypnotists. I might actually do it for you, Grant, later on after this interview. Is that I used to get my head and I'd cut my head out and I would superimpose it on other hypnotists' bodies.
Do it.
And send it to them.
Do it.
And because it was kind of my peace offering, saying, "Hey, how you doing? I'm here," kind of thing. And some people thought it was funny, went ha ha ha. And some people felt it insulting, and I never heard from them again.
Wow!
And it actually gave you a huge idea of the difference between personalities. And I was in hysterics because then there was a friend of mine that sort of he just had a newborn. So I sent him back the photo of my face on his newborn and sent it back to him. He was a fellow hypnotist, and he's just like, I'm like, oh, come on, man, it's funny. I don't care where you're from. I had a series of photos, like sort of, I did one from The Lion King with my face on The Lion King. I've done one of when they had the picture of Homer being hypnotized with the guy with the watch. So I put my face on him. I've done a whole series of them. Some of like bikini swimsuit model magazine covers. Just because I was really bored that day, and I'm like, I spent so long cutting my own head out. I'm like, oh, what can I put it on? So I spent like 3 days sitting there posting it to everything. Brilliant. And I just sort of like babies sitting in pumpkins, and it had my face on it and stuff like that. And that's the craziness that sort of like that I bring to the cards with people. You know what I mean? Brilliant. And sort of so then they can actually enjoy themselves.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So if you're not too shy to have a bit of a laugh at yourself, then people aren't too shy to have a bit of laugh at themselves. You know what I mean?
Exactly. No, that is absolutely spot on. Jimmy, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on.
We've got 6.5 more hours to go, man.
we have a comedian in the UK who's died now called Ken Dodd. And Ken Dodd was very famous he was famous up until he died last year. But he's very famous for what he used to do is he would start the show in his theatre, and he would say that he would not leave until at least everybody had laughed. And he would literally do shows for like 4 and 5 hours. He would go on forever.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
Get in people's face. Oh, God damn you.
Exactly. Right, I've got
and by the end of it, he's just like, I'll dance for you until you laugh. All right.
Yes. I'll send you a clip of Ken Dodd if you've not heard of him. Brilliant British humour. Ken Dodd and his Diddy Men. It was brilliant.
Make sure I have a good night's sleep then, by the sounds of it.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I've got your promo video. I'm going to play that as we finish this interview. I'll play that to play it out. I don't know what music's on it, and I know Facebook can be a bit funny with copyright strikes. So
yeah, that's right.
if it cuts us off, it's fine. But final words, Jimmy, over to you.
Well, if it cuts us off, we know it's run by Jews. Sorry, I had to.
Oh, dear me, Jimmy. Right. Once again, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on.
Anytime.
This will be uploaded onto YouTube. I'll put your description and a link to your website in the description as well. hypnotisplayground.com. Hopefully, at some point, if we ever bump into each other, either in America or if
we have to have a steak.
We definitely will have a steak in America. You will love it. Right. So, Jimmy, thank you very much for coming on, guys. Check out Jimmy's website.
Maybe one day I'll come and see you in the UK.
Absolutely. You're always welcome. I'll bring you up north to the centre of the universe, which is Manchester.
I thought you could say the sunny side. Is there a sunny side of the UK?
There isn't, no. we have 2 weeks in August. And
that's when I'm coming.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, it's the only time to come. Don't come to the UK in autumn. It's just grey and cold.
So after those 2 weeks, you just see a bunch of red people walking around town.
Literally, the sun comes out. I'm out there like that, just trying to get as much tan as I can.
And then you can be like, then people get angry. They'll be like, don't do blackface, man.
Very good. Very good.
He's like, no, that's just my hair growing over my face.
Yes, it is.
Just get more and more.
Yeah, I'm going to start combing it up. Jimmy, thank you very much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure talking with you. And this is the start of a friendship, I do believe. Right.
Thank you very much. You have a great day. I'm
going to play your promo now and take care, and I'll see you later.
Till next time.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the greatest show on earth.
How you doing, my friend? What's your name?
Something more?
Very cheap. What's 1 + 1? 2. What's 2 + 1? 4. I touch myself. It's weird, man. It's weird. You like it so far? Oh, yeah.
That's all, folks.
Jimmy, fantastic, great promo. Thank you very much for joining us on the show tonight. And yes, thank you very much.
All the best to your COVID shows coming up.
Oh, thank you very much. Nice one. And next time you see me, I might actually have shorter hair. Not short as yours, but
on your face or on your head?
Head.
Okay.
All right, nice one, Jimmy. Take care, buddy.
Bye, man.